A suspect lunged for a police officer's gun during an interrogation, desperate to end everything right there. Another calmly admitted to a gruesome crime, explaining how her pigs ate the body. Today, we're counting down the craziest interrogation moments of all time. Each story is more unbelievable than the last. But before we dive in, some of the details in these stories are extremely graphic and may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. As always, remember to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with the channel. All right, let's dive into the video. In October 2014, Skylar Nemitz, a young soldier, faced a devastating situation. He learned that his wife, Danielle, had been involved with another man while he was away for training. Consumed by anger, he claimed that the AR-15 he was holding went off by accident, killing Danielle. But during his interrogation, Skylar's story unraveled. As detectives questioned how such a mistake could happen, his frustration exploded. He slammed his fists on the table and shouted, "I killed my wife, okay?" The room fell into a tense silence, and the detectives sensed there was more to the story. Skylar's claim that he was cleaning the gun while pointing it directly at Danielle's head made little sense. The jury was left with a tough decision. Was this an accident or a deliberate act? But not every interrogation ends in words. For Thomas Robinson, accused of murder, desperation drove him to take a dangerous chance. Realizing that his situation was hopeless, he made a sudden move as officers prepared to cuff him. Thomas lunged for the officer's gun, trying to force them into a deadly confrontation. "Kill me!" he screamed over and over, creating chaos in the small room. His plan was thwarted, though, thanks to the safety lock on the holster. Within moments, backup stormed in, tasers were fired, and Robinson was subdued. The officers, shaken, understood just how narrowly they had escaped a fatal incident. Susan Monica, a secluded woman living in rural Oregon, who became the center of a horrifying investigation when human remains were discovered on her property. What the detectives uncovered was straight out of a nightmare. During the interrogation, Susan described in graphic detail how she found her handyman, Robert Haney, being devoured alive by her pigs. He was like, half-eaten. "I could see his arm moving," she revealed.
And how did you know he was alive?
I could see his arm moving. He was moaning a little bit. I yelled at the pigs, and they were doing their thing. They're just, having lunch or breakfast. They were having breakfast on him. And I could see that, there was no way he was going to get to the hospital and live. I didn't think he was going to live more than a few more minutes. I went up and got my rifle and I shot him in the head.
Instead of helping him, she calmly explained that she fetched a rifle and shot him to end his suffering. But the horrors didn't stop there. Susan went on to casually mention the remains of another man, Stephen, who had met a similar fate on her farm. As she spoke, her calm and detached demeanor was unnerving. She described leaving the bodies to be consumed by her pigs without a trace of remorse, a story so grotesque that it left even the most experienced detectives shaken.
You are a cold-blooded killer. Count 1, life. Count 2 is a different victim, so you'll be life. Anybody that can shoot somebody in the back of the head, feed them to their pigs, and not think twice about it. Not showing emotion. When the detectives show up to joke about it, joke about feeding animals to your pigs, or feeding people to your pigs, that's cold.
Ryan Waller's story is a devastating example of an interrogation gone terribly wrong. After surviving a violent home invasion, Ryan had been shot in the eye but was taken into police custody instead of being rushed to a hospital. Despite his obvious injuries, his face swollen, blood seeping from the wound, detectives dismissed his pleas, thinking he was delirious. They bombarded him with questions, doubting his account of being shot.
You're telling me they shot you with a revolver in your eye?
Yes.
Is it a BB gun?
No, it was a real gun, man. It was just a
If they
revolver.
shot you in the eye, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. Because most likely you'd be dead.
For over an hour, Ryan repeated his story, struggling to stay conscious as his condition deteriorated. It wasn't until much later that officers realized just how serious his injuries were and finally called for medical help. But by then, the damage was done. Ryan's severe brain injury left him permanently disabled, and he eventually died from complications years later. His interrogation stands as a tragic reminder of how a single oversight can lead to devastating consequences. During his interrogation, Fidel Lopez revealed a chilling tale that began with a single word. After a night of heavy drinking, Fidel snapped when his girlfriend, Maria, accidentally called out her ex's name. Enraged, he unleashed a brutal attack, leaving the apartment covered in blood. At first, Fidel tried to mislead detectives, claiming Maria had died from alcohol poisoning. But as the questioning intensified, his facade crumbled. Sobbing uncontrollably, he confessed to destroying the apartment and violently attacking Maria. "I lost it," he repeated.
Okay? This is what I think. And then eventually you call 911. Something made you so angry that this happened. Okay? Ripping out your girlfriend's insides physically and then being on the floor in the closet is not rough sex. We've gotten past that part. Okay? What caused you to become so violent? Alcohol. And what? And what? Not just the alcohol. You don't go from a penis. I'm asking you.
No, Dad, I'm always satisfied. She was okay with me, but I don't know just what happened with her. She gets so drunk, and I don't know why she was confusing me and telling me Robert besides Fidel. I was drunk, very, very drunk.
I know you're frustrated. You're drunk, you're frustrated, you're
I
upset.
didn't mean
You're
to
angry.
kill her, man.
I know,
I really
but you
don't
took
mean
it.
to kill her,
We
man.
understand that. We
She's
understand
my
that.
love, man.
We understand that. But she pissed you off because she called you another man's name. I can tell you right now, if I'm having sex with my wife and she calls out another man's name, I'm gonna get pissed off. Okay? It's human nature, dude. Don't.
This is not human, man. I just took her life. I don't mean to, but I did it.
Because you got enraged.
Because I was drunk. If I was sober, maybe I understand. Maybe I just left the apartment. But I was drunk.
His hands trembling as he recounted every horrifying detail. His confession was raw and unnerving, exposing a moment of uncontrollable rage that left even the detectives stunned. In 2009, the case of 15-year-old Alyssa Bustamante shocked everyone. When 9-year-old Elizabeth Olton went missing, suspicion quickly turned to Alyssa. During her interrogation, detectives uncovered a chilling piece of evidence, Alyssa's diary entry that read, "I just killed someone. It was amazing." Initially, she tried to claim it was all an accident, but after hours of relentless questioning, she broke down. Her grandmother, present during the interrogation,
Was her throat cut?
Yeah. Oh.
Grandma?
Oh my God.
She was Grandma. I'm not going to ask any questions right now until we get.
gasped in horror as Alyssa described luring Elizabeth into the woods, strangling her, and burying her in a shallow grave that she had dug days before. The cold calculation in Alyssa's actions left even the most seasoned detectives struggling to keep their composure. Russell Jones's time in the interrogation room was nothing short of bizarre. Arrested for conspiring to commit murder, he turned the interview into a chaotic monologue. Left alone in the room, he ranted to himself, jumping between conspiracy theories and random confessions. "I know you're listening."
We can do this the nice way, or we can do it the hard way and I can release my bipolar. Let's make a deal. Do-do-do-do. Her parents, or pairing. And I know I'm being recorded. You can keep that on there. Unless you're a nice cop, then I take it back. But if you're one of those two-timing, donut-eating piece of crap that don't like rules, a high school bully with a badge, I'm sorry, buddy, but I eat high school bullies for breakfast.
He shouted, seeming to address invisible observers. At one point, he even played with the recording equipment, turning it off as if trying to control what the police heard. But in his erratic ramblings, Russell slipped up, revealing crucial details of the crime. His incoherent confessions provided the detectives with everything they needed, proving that sometimes suspects can be their own worst enemies. Dalia DiPolito, who believed she had executed the perfect crime by hiring a hitman to kill her husband. What she didn't know was that the hitman was actually an undercover officer. The police staged a fake crime scene and brought Dalia in.
I'm Sergeant Ramsey. I'm the one that called you. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you. Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry. Listen.
No.
Try to calm down. Listen, right now, we need to get you to the station. We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you in, man. We have to do our job. If you want us to find this killer, okay? We need you to calm down. I'm gonna need you to go with these detectives, okay? Does he have enemies? Is there anyone that would want to hurt him? Okay, who would want to hurt him? Witnesses said they saw a black male running from you. I can't let you see him, ma'am. Ma'am, I cannot do this right now. Ma'am, I can't do it. Detective Yopi,
telling her that her husband was dead. In the interrogation room, she put on a dramatic show, sobbing and asking, who could have done this? But when the police brought in her very much alive husband,
You want to wait here? You close the door, please. Hey, somebody call out there and see if the place was burglarized. Take care of it. Can you do that, please? All right. Will you let me know? Now, you know that I fight for your rights, right? Yeah. Okay. The game's over with. Okay? There's no more games with you and I. Now we're going to get down to serious business. I want to know if you know this guy. Come here. Bring this guy in here. Get over here. Get over here. You know who this guy is? You've never seen him before. Do you know her? Put your head up and look at her. Put your head up. I've never seen her. What were you doing coming out of her house? Get him out of here. You're going to jail today for solicitation and murder and under arrest. That's an undercover police officer. We filmed everything that you did, recorded everything that you did. You're going to jail for solicitation and first-degree murder and arrest. Did you hear what I just told you? Everything, listen to me. Everything has been recorded. You were photographed in the convertible when you sat in his car. in the front of CBS. What do you want to do? What do you want to do here? Stop it. Listen to me.
I didn't do anything.
You're going to jail.
I didn't do anything, please. I didn't do anything.
Tell me you didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything.
You're going to jail today. As soon as I'm done, they're going to come in here and handcuff you and take you to the Palm Beach County Jail, book you for solicitation of first-degree murder on your husband. Your husband is well and alive.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, thank God.
Can I see him?
No, he doesn't want to see you.
I still wanted to see him.
He doesn't want to see you. You better quit your plan. Listen to me. I want you to quit your acting and get this over with. Yes, you are. Okay. You know what? You need a real good attorney. You need a real good attorney because we're going to show them the film where you say you're 5,000% sure you want him dead. You think I made that up? You think I made that up? Exactly what's going to happen. I'm putting talk to you. When I leave this room, no other officer will ever talk to you again. Next time we see you is when you're in trial. And you can make it right here, or you're going to trial, and you're going to do life in prison. You want to cooperate with us, whatever you want to do. It's over and done once I walk out. I'm not coming back in to talk to you. And no one else is here. What do you want to do before I leave here? Because the next officer comes here, going to handcuff you and take you to the jail. No, he doesn't want to see you. He doesn't want to see you. I'm leaving now. You're having an officer come here.
Her expression shifted from grief to shock. As she struggled to maintain her story, the truth became clear. Her staged emotions and sudden change of demeanor couldn't fool the jury, sealing her fate. Quantrell Schwartzlow wasn't planning on sticking around for his interrogation. Brought in for assault, he bided his time, waiting for the perfect moment. Then, without warning, he bolted from the room, cuffs still locked around his wrists. Surveillance footage shows him sprinting down the hallway, dodging officers left and right as they tried to block his path. But his freedom was fleeting. After a frantic chase, police managed to track him down just a few hours later. He was still handcuffed, adding a failed escape attempt to his growing list of charges. It was a desperate act that left the officers on edge and added to the chaos of that night. Grant Amato's obsession with a cam girl that tore his family apart and led to a night of bloodshed. Accused of murdering his parents and brother, he tried to weave a story of self-defense during his interrogation. Grant claimed his father had been violent in the past, hoping to shift suspicion. But when detectives showed him photos from the crime scene, his story began to unravel. He stammered, his hands shook, but he kept denying his involvement, saying, "I didn't do any of this."
He would allow me to spend money that he had, with his credit card or something like that.
And what were you buying with it?
I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's as embarrassing as it is. She's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay, where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
So what would you give her money for?
Just for time online with her.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just that type of thing.
And what did she charge?
$600 for chatting like that.
How much do you think you spent on this? Because it seems kind of pricey.
Yeah. Probably close to $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And Cody didn't shoot your dad. We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself.
And you still haven't asked us the condition of them or anything.
That's because I don't know what the normal proceedings are, but I don't...
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family?
Oh, I didn't do any of this.
The detectives pressed him, showing evidence that contradicted his claims. But Grant stuck to his lies, trying to maintain his innocence. His failure to come clean only sealed his fate in court, where he was convicted on all counts. Brittany Gosney's interrogation exposed a desperate act that ended in tragedy. Trying to please her boyfriend, James Hamilton, she decided to abandon her 3 children at a park. But when her 6-year-old son clung to the van, she sped off, dragging him under the wheels. In the interrogation room, Brittany tried to shift blame, saying that Hamilton had pressured her into it. But as detectives pushed, the truth came out. "You could have stopped," one detective insisted. "You could have saved him." Her composure cracked, and she sobbed uncontrollably, but her tears couldn't change the reality of what she had done. Brittany faced charges for her son's death and the attempted abandonment of her other children, a choice that tore apart what was left of her family.
I'm about to lose my temper, and I'm trying not to. I'm gonna take a break. Do you want to talk to me or no? You probably don't, because you're not going to tell me the truth. You've sat back there in that jail, and you've tried to come up with some excuse for the... Hold on, let me move over here. I'm too close to you. Because you've sat back there in that... Just listen, okay? You've sat back there in that jail, and you've tried to come up with some reason to justify you not getting charged with murder. Here's where we are, okay? There's no doubt in my mind you took those kids out there to leave them out there. You took them out there hoping no one would ever see them, find them, or you would never see them or hear from them again. Is that a safe assumption?
Most suspects try to avoid admitting guilt during interrogations, but Ricky Hawthorne took a different approach. When police brought him in, covered in blood and found near a double murder scene, they barely had time to start questioning him. Before the detective could even finish reading his rights, Ricky blurted out, "Yeah, I did it, but someone else finished it."
Hey.
Hey.
Come on in.
Hey. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I did. I did.
You know what? Let's do this.
I did it, but I think somebody came behind me and finished it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it.
Okay.
But they was trying to fucking run me nuts. Yeah, I did it. But there's 3 more people. I don't know.
And you know what?
They was living when I left. But I think somebody came in behind me and finished them off. I did beat the shit out of them. But it was somebody else. I left.
Okay.
They was running me nuts with that spice shit. And I couldn't take it no longer. But I don't know who came behind me. They was living. But I don't know after I left.
And remember this, okay? I wasn't there, okay?
I wasn't either, but I don't know.
Listen to what I'm saying. So like that, I listen to what you're saying. They was trying to run me fucking nuts, man, with that spice. And you listen to what I'm saying.
I did.
Let's just do this.
I did some of it, but I don't know who come behind me. They was living.
And this is the great opportunity, like I told you, that we were going to be fair.
There's no use to me lying anyway. Fuck it. I mean,
so what we're going to do is this.
His words hung in the air, leaving the detective momentarily stunned. As the reality of his admission set in, Ricky tried to shift the blame, insisting that he only attacked the victims and that another person delivered the fatal blows. But his first confession, along with the forensic evidence, painted a clear picture for the prosecution. Despite his attempts to change the narrative, Ricky's own words sealed his fate, leading to a swift conviction for first-degree murder. Brian Cohey's interrogation was nothing short of unnerving. After killing a homeless man simply for the experience,
Parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
he showed zero remorse. When detectives asked why he committed such a brutal act, he answered with an eerie calm, "I just wanted to see what it felt like." His tone remained flat as he detailed how he had carefully put on gloves and used a knife to stab the man in the neck. He was panicking at first, asking, "Why?"
No. And I pull the sheets back, I get on him like a knee, and then stab him, and he wakes up. He's, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah."
And I think you stabbed him anywhere besides, but I know you said the neck a lot of times. How many times do you think?
Did you count? No. I was going until he stopped.
Okay, how many? Just your best idea how many times?
30 or 40.
Okay. You said the neck. Besides cutting his arms.
Well, actually, it was a general assault. I was mainly targeting his neck because that's the most vulnerable area. I was stabbing his head, anywhere in that general area. I stabbed his head multiple times.
How about his chest, his stomach?
His chest, I stabbed once through the ribs.
Which hand were you using?
Right hand. It was his right ribs, and I just went. I sliced open his belly, carved up his leg. Not like I just made several slices at his leg.
Why did you do that?
I was just doing everything I thought of at the moment. Then I cut off his head. I gave him a Glasgow smile. A Joker smile.
Why were you doing that?
I suppose it was a frenzy. I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline every day. And I paused and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "I've been wanting to do this for a long time."
Brian recounted, almost bored. But it was easier than I thought. The detective tried to dig deeper, hoping to find a flicker of guilt or humanity. But Brian just shrugged, as if discussing the weather. His cold, emotionless recounting left the room tense and silent, with officers struggling to grasp the lack of empathy in front of them. The chilling calm with which Brian spoke about the murder added a haunting edge to an already horrifying crime. Ellen Fryer's interrogation was a window into a sinister scheme that shocked everyone involved. She and her boyfriend, Gavin, had plotted the murder of her own father, and when she sat down with detectives, she tried to play the victim. Ellen claimed she was trapped, painting herself as desperate to escape her father's control. But as the detectives pressed her for details, her story started to unravel. Her account of the events became oddly specific, revealing that she knew much more than she initially let on. "I just wanted to be free of him," she pleaded, trying to garner sympathy. But the mood shifted when the detectives dropped a bombshell.
Because it was his original plan to take out my father.
Gavin is not saying that. In fact, he used, I believe, those exact same words. Taken out. From you.
My original plan was to run away, and then Mike got involved. About the possibility of doing that.
Of doing what?
Taking out my dad.
And what does that mean to you?
Killing him.
Then what?
And then we started talking more about it.
What were you texting Mike?
Essentially what you just said.
No, I want to hear from you.
Gavin had already confessed everything. Ellen's face went pale, and her rehearsed narrative crumbled. In tears, she admitted her role in the dark plan, exposing the lengths she was willing to go for her so-called freedom. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then check out these videos on the screen now. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to the email in the description. And as always, remember to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, the only thing scarier than these stories is missing out on our next video.